Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I'm doing another video, and this one's a groundbreaking video. Um, Man, I had a rough day today because this morning I was basically woken up early by the Lord, and it's kind of weird. I am used to when He kind of wakes me up, and I just kind of pop awake. It's very different, and so I got up and immediately had me working on stuff, looking at stuff, and going right to iPet Goat. I've wanted to do videos on the light side of the coin, but he just keeps giving me like a red light, like a stop, and don't do that. And so I guess this is my niche. I guess this is where he wants me right now. I've done some light side of the coin. I've done a couple of full videos on that with God's timing. But I guess right now, because of world events and things and all that, and warning people, he wants me to do this right now. So I'm fine with that in a way, although I spent most of the day basically feeling sick to my stomach because this morning after really looking at some stuff and finding some incredible things, and him giving me the spiritual eyes and seeing things I hadn't seen before, I was pretty blown away. I was so blown away that I immediately felt sick. And most of the day, actually, I was not feeling good. I was not happy because I just realized how close we are to um, many people dying. I don't even want to give the number, but many people dying. And I've never been okay with that. In fact, like I said, for years, when I first found out about this and some of these details, and I had a dream about America laid low, 9/23, America laid low, and I didn't really understand that. But then when I had a dream later of the Ark dream, and it saw people slamming against the Ark, bodies and parts and all kinds, I just don't want to even explain it. It was very difficult for me. It was very traumatic, and that came back to me. It was almost like I had post-traumatic stress from that event that I had seen in my dream today, and I could not deal with it. In fact, I had to stop working, and I had to go home and just, I don't know, just pray and be at peace and let it kind of pass. It took hours. So anyway, I want to get to this here, but this is groundbreaking. This is why I put on here iPet Goat 2 solved, because I believe this is solved. We know the day, the time, everything, and as far as exactly the exact actions and everything, I'm pretty much going to give you my speculation about it based on what I see here, but I'm pretty sure it's nailed now. So, and I'll prove that. So again, it's still speculation at this point, but I'm thinking I'm going to prove it, just like like a prosecutor would be sure that they're proving a case, or a detective when they have all their evidence and they're ready to bring those charges against the criminal and all that. So that's where I'm at. I'm the detective, I'm the prosecutor, and I think I have a case. And I finally have a full case added to the other stuff that I had, that you've seen, some of my bigger videos, stuff that's over an hour long typically, that lays out a bunch of stuff. So, and it's just crazy because someone said to me today, how can you trust a short little animated video and that's kind of cartoony and stuff? And you know what? That's exactly what people underestimate the devil, in many ways. And I think that's why it was done this way, because no one would really take it I should say no one, but a lot of people don't take it seriously. Most people don't take it seriously. But if you watch it and you have some kind of discernment, you can see how evil it is, how intent it is, how there's layers. If you look at it at all, you can see the layers, you can see some of the events and all that stuff. It's pretty detailed. It's one of the most detailed things I've ever seen, even though I hate it. I can't stand it. But I am, on the other side of that, I am thankful to have it, because I know the timing, and I'm thankful that the Lord has worked in me to let you know the timing. And whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter to me. I think you should, and I'm not gonna, I wouldn't want to control anybody or tell them to do anything, but I want to put it before you, and you decide. And then guess what? The Lord has told me a few times and made it super clear that most people that see this, or most people that hear about this, won't do anything about it. But after the events unfold and after all the stuff starts to happen, then they'll remember what they saw, what I said, what my video said, or people will tell other people and they'll refer them to these ideas, whether the video is available or they'll just tell them what they know, and that'll be thousands upon thousands of people, because a few thousand have seen my videos total, as far as probably new people, at the most. But then I'm hoping for more, and I'm going to ask you, each one of you, to do your part. Please, I beg you to do your part and share this with as many people as possible. We don't have very many days left before all this goes very badly. So I'm asking you to ask the Lord what to do, all you that believe in Him, and even if you don't, and you see this to some degree, please share this with as many people as you can, if this evidence is striking enough for you. So that's what I asked initially. And Father, I thank you for your blessings upon this information and what you've done, and how you continue to let people know about the evil plans that these wicked men have in this world to bring on chaos and then bring order out of it. It's sick. It's disgusting. I hate it. But it's what it is. And God is not wanting this to happen, but He's letting it in a way because people will not stand up against it. There's too much corruption. There's too much evil in this world. And He's going to let it play out for a little while, and then He's going to completely stop everything at some point. So people have made a bed and they're going to lie in it in general. And America has, and that's just the way it is. And so I don't like that. I don't agree. I mean, I've argued with God so many times over the last couple of years on stuff that I've seen and everything. I feel like Abraham, or I feel like some of the prophets, that kind of stuff, where I'm just arguing with God. I'm like, what can I, can we change this? What can I do? Can you do something different? And, it just hasn't changed. So, but I know He's loving, He's merciful. He's let this go on long enough. He's let evil, reign, and He's let innocents die and be thrashed and be destroyed and taken advantage of. And oh man, I've seen some of these things. I've seen visions of some of this stuff. I haven't even shared with virtually anybody. Very little, very few people. Because it's so wicked, it's so horrible, and I wouldn't wish it for anybody. I've seen things, I've seen visions of things that people have done to other people, and I've heard things too. So I'm going to keep going with this, and hopefully you see the information and the evidence that I'm going to present. So I'm going to start by playing a section of the video, okay, of the movie, and where I'm going to play it, and I may talk during it a little bit, and then I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to go to some different parts and bring out the slideshow and just show you more detail what these things are saying, which I believe they're saying, what they're pointing to, and all that. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So there's quite a bit going on there, and I'm going to hit certain things that I think are pertinent to the timing of the first event, the real first event. I mean, I guess there are first events more technically as far as, the what I shared with some of my last videos of the Massachusetts event where the houses just started on fire and they said it was gas, and I showed on the chalkboard where there's an M and then the house is the A, so MA for Massachusetts, and then the house is on fire, and then it shows on the other side 1-3. If you remember that, if you've seen that video. If you haven't seen the videos, look at a few of the videos before this one. Then also I showed later in the last video that I showed, it showed Bush with his hand up underneath that house like a shark fin, and then there was a shark attack in Massachusetts on Cape Cod. I mean, are you kidding me? And so that was right at that point. So the next thing on the chalkboard in the classroom is the shark attacks. So we're talking about 2 attacks. Okay, I'm going to show you that. Okay, and let me go to the first thing on the slide here. Okay, now I've showed you this before, of course, a few times actually. And this is a depiction of New York and, of course, the Statue of Liberty. Of course, so, and like I said before, this area here is a clock. Okay, and I thought it was, possibly, I thought it could have been 3 for a couple reasons. That one, the J.K. Bugout pointed out. Again, before I do anything, I want to give credit to J.K. Bugout, just like it sounds, and Julian T, Julian space T. A lot of you know some of these guys, some of you don't, a lot of you don't. But they have set some of the standards for which I look at this thing by. JK really set the standard, I believe, on a chronology, and Julian T does some of that, but he's more like events, specific events, and JK's really shown the chronology. And there's things where we diverge, and say both of them, from me and them, and like I said, I haven't heard from JK for over a month now. I'm concerned about him. He hasn't made a video for almost 3 weeks now, I think it is. So I'm concerned about it. He won't return my calls, so I don't know what happened to him or what's going on. So, and then Julian's going on strong, and he's putting all these things out there as far as possibilities and stuff. And he's the guy that does like the scatter shot stuff. I mean, he comes in, kicks the door down, hits you with a sawed-off shotgun, and then some of it sticks, some of it hits, and it's pretty amazing what he does. And there's a lot of things that don't hit, but he just says, hey, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. And then JK was a little bit more, he wanted things to kind of fit. And so he shared things that seemed like they fit, and he put a few ideas that didn't fit, but he was hoping to put. So my strategy and my way of looking at things is I don't present things to people unless I have several confirmations. In my mind, as a detective, I want to have evidence corroborate other evidence. And I might throw out a few things out there just as, that I'm thinking or that doesn't have any corroboration, but most of the time, if I'm presenting stuff to you, is because I have 2 or 3 witnesses in the information or other things in life to support that. That's usually how I go about it. So I'm a little bit more, like I said, fact-based, and I want things to back up other things. So let's start with this. So I thought this might be 2 o'clock, but as JK mentioned, I think he said it was 3, but I didn't see it that way at the time. And then when we're looking at 2, and later Alicia CB said that this, when you squint your eyes, this looks like HI. I could not believe it. I was totally shocked. And again, I want to thank Alicia. I want to thank Amanda. I want to thank big time. You know who you are, S. That's S. You have been so helpful, and you've sent me stuff, and I'm so thankful. So I want to really thank you big time, S, as well. And I want to thank my wife and my daughter, and they've done a bunch of stuff too, and they've been so supportive in this whole process. So I got to get those thanks out there. And then also, first of all, I want to thank God and the Lord Jesus Christ, because without Jesus and his guiding, I'd be nowhere, and his guiding in my life, I'd be nowhere. So he's number one, then all these other people. But I just want to give credit where credit is due on all this stuff, because this has been, like I've said before, a collaborative effort. It's been monumental for me to learn from some people and see things that other people have discovered first. I mean, where would any of us be if we didn't have people that went there before us? And so many things, we would be nowhere really. Especially because of Jesus and what God has done and how He's set a path for us to righteousness. So I'm very thankful. So, like I said, I thought this might be 2, and then it made sense when I figured out this was Hawaii, or when I was going to see that it was Hawaii. Then it would be 8 o'clock, because 8, I mean, that's the difference between time frame. 2 in the morning, would be at morning because it's at night, it's showing at night. It wouldn't be 2 in the afternoon because it's not showing daytime. And then the time difference would be 8 p.m. and there's so many 8s going on, so that made a lot of sense to me. But then I saw other things. Okay, so let me go to this next thing. Okay, so what I saw was this, okay, and then later I saw this up here. So first of all, this, I believe this Star of David, or whatever you'd call it, it doesn't look like completely like a Star of David, but because it doesn't have the little bars and everything, but it looks like a Star of David, which is really Illuminati symbol, but whatever. It's up and down right here. So what I saw was, and I'm thinking maybe it must be oriented this way then, okay, this direction. So that would make it more 3 o'clock, okay. And then also I saw this recently right here, 3. There's a 3 right here. Did you see that? There's a 3. So I'm like, okay, that is a 3. And then it was confirmed even more when I realized what this was up here. Okay, now I'm going to show you what this is right here. Now remember, I have here 9:23. This is 9. This is a 9 right here. 9, then 2, then 3. 9:23. And I've said this in a couple of my videos. Basically, the last one I really backed it up because this pretty much the exact pattern is in the Lily's dress, the girl with the white dress, and I'm going to show you that later. It's right here, okay? That's crazy. Okay, so we're talking about 9:23, these events, and so I'm going to break it to you. This is the day. This is the day. Now we're looking at the time on this day. Okay, now I'm going to prove all this stuff. It's crazy. I'm going to give you much more evidence than I had before. Okay, so, and by the way, it's looking like it's a little bit after 3. Now keep in mind, this is looking like the reason I thought it was 2 is because it's kind of bent here a little bit, okay? But if you look at this being kind of 3, but then that means the big hand's off the mark a little bit, so it's a little after 3. And if you know how this stuff works, if you remember clocks, when this is off, when the big hand's off the mark a little bit, the little hand's moving this way too. So it's a little after 3. Maybe it's 3:05 or something like that, or 3:07. I don't know. Okay, but that would make sense. Now, and then look at this. So here's that. So I pretty much have it down, but this is a kicker right here, which is crazy. Okay, we go over here. Okay, see this right here? You can see this a little bit better. Let me go even farther into it. Now look at this. This is a 9, but it's sideways, and I thought it might be a 9/11 because this is, if you can't really see it, but these are two different colors. These are both say similar color, but then no, I realized it's the same orientation as that. Okay, look, it's the same orientation. It's sideways. This is up and down, so it's like 90 degree to this. Okay, so this is a clock hand. Okay, it's weird. With what I do, I see clock hands all the time. It's weird, and I've noticed that center point is where something goes right here and it holds the clock hand in place, and then this thing just rotates, so it's a bigger spot right here. So this is a clock hand, and guess what? It's right after this tick, and there's another tick right here. So this would be, if there's one big one going like this, was not shown because this is it right here. Okay, this is it right here, and it's a little bit past the 12, so this becomes the big hand for this, right? Okay, so this becomes a big hand, and it's a little bit past 12, so that means this is a little bit past the 9 o'clock spot. Crazy. Okay, crazy. So that means that it's 9 o'clock, and I'm going to show you more evidence. This is 9 o'clock, and this is referring to this mass right here, the 9:23. And I'm going to show you what this is also is, this mass right here. What is this? And why is this saying 9 o'clock? And this is saying after 9, and this one's saying after 3. So this is Hawaii, 9 o'clock p.m., and then you go 6 hours later is what? Yes, 3 a.m. Okay? That's crazy. That's the difference. And guess what? My wife and my daughter saw this when I was explaining to them before I even did. And you're going from 9 to 3 on 9/23. You're going from 9 to 3 on 9/23. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Okay, so we're going from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock on 9/23. Remember, I told you in my other videos, they love 93. They love going from 9 to 3. They can't wait to go from 9, which is the bottom of the pyramid, to 3, which is the top of the pyramid, which is from being, it's illusion, it's you know, it's the earthly life, it's, you know, it's just, they want to go to God's, which is 3. Okay, I'm not explaining it very well right now, but I explained it better in my other video. Okay, so you can watch that. So that's crazy. And now let me show you more here. Okay, we're gonna go past this. Okay, back to here. So now we see this in a bigger scope. Oh, by the way, right here, it's underwater. See that? That thing is underwater, which is showing this is underwater at this time. So what I'm saying here is that New York and Hawaii they should happen. Everything should happen on the same day for both places. And West Coast and East Coast they will start these events on the same day. And there's several things I'm going to show you. I'm going to go past this again. Okay, so we're back to where I was explaining this scene before in my other video, okay? And I'm going to explain this again a little bit. So the drop of oil drops down, and it says something right there. It says 3, 2, 1. I'm going to get into that, but right here. So I want to make it clear. So right here, this spot right here, that is Hawaii Island. That's the big island. So if you're looking from the shore of like Maui or something like that, we've been to the big island, so we know about this, and I've seen it. Okay, it's big, it's kind of broad right here, and it's kind of high right here. It looks just like this, the big island. This would be kind of from southwest, roughly. If I'm saying it right. Excuse me. So this is this is the big island right here, and I noticed it kind of right away when I was really looking at this. And then this is a storm right here, okay? And I think this is representing two things. This is representing Harvey, Hurricane Harvey, because we got the Texas, and that was Hurricane Harvey, and that's the oil, and the oil got slammed. I mean, they had the oil. I remember my price on my oil went up, and I'm in you know, the Midwest, so I'm in Mountain Standard Time. And my price went up for a little while, and because some manufacturing facilities went down for a little while, but then it came back up and everything was fine, it seemed like. So, but the big thing with Harvey was rain. It says right here, R-A-I-N. See that? And I was explained this before. Okay, but there's another parallel, because it's crazy. Harvey was in late August, okay, of 2017. Now the parallel here is Lane, which was in late August of 2018. So there's a similarity here. So that, I think, why the oil is dripping like this, but then it means something. When this is dripping and making this drop, it means a tsunami starting in 2018. But the drop, I believe, is Harvey in 2017. So this is kind of it's showing, there's several places where these timelines, okay, they are both in 2017 and 2018. I'll show you that more. So that is the big island. There's a storm going on right here, and there's rain, because Lane was all about rain, about probably 60 plus inches. Some people say 50 plus, but I think it was closer to 60 plus in certain areas, especially the big island. Okay, and then Harvey was all about rain. Again, that was probably 60 plus inches, or definitely 50 plus inches. Okay, but then this is really talking about Hawaii in 2018, but it's referenced to Harvey as well. So because they're about the same time frame from year to year. And guess what? Here's a tsunami right here. So this is Hawaii, and imagine then this is also a big, because you kind of got the slope of Hawaii, you have a slope of a tsunami starting. So, you know, Harvey didn't start a tsunami, but Lane is basically the predecessor of a tsunami that's going to start. It's a process that's going to start a tsunami, and Lane started it. Okay. And so this is showing that, and then you see like I think these maybe a lot of like ships or something on the water, and they're going to get hit by a tsunami. Anyway, so I'm kind of breaking this down a little bit so you get an idea what this is. Okay, so now this is 20. So this is probably the past as far as the Texas oil. There might be something that happened in the future. Maybe the Straits of Hormuz are blocked here this week by Iran or something like that. So there could be something that coordinates to this year. But that's definitely, this is Texas oil slowing down from Harvey for sure. But then this drop is, see this ripple here? This is a tsunami. So imagine this is the whole Pacific, and then Hawaii is in the middle, and here comes a drop or a devastation happens in the middle, and you have 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3 hurricanes with Hawaii that's in the middle of the Pacific. Okay, now that's crazy. Okay, but I want to show you this, and so this kind of sets up the next thing here. Now, this is a transition. So you see how you can kind of see the Statue of Liberty right here, and it's transitioning into that scene I just started with. Here we got 923 right here in that block right there. Now watch, the drop comes down, and this is 9 or 6. This is 6/11 or 9/11. I showed this in my other video, and so it's upside down and backwards. So it's 9/11. You have this. You have this is kind of a symbol of a hurricane, and then this little thing right here, which looks like Hawaii if you squint your eyes. So the hurricane, Olivia was right here on 9/11, right exactly the spot northeast or northeast or whatever you call it, right here, the exact spot on 9/11. Okay, this predicted it years and years ago. Okay, so here it is right here, and I already shared this with you, but listen, this is more information. So I'm just kind of recapping this. So we're looking at this, and then now guess what? We're looking at this transition right up here. There's a transition. Now look at this transition right here. Watch this transition. Look at this. This is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. So remember I said this was Hawaii and southwest. Look at this. This is where the East Rift Zone and Kilauea are. Look at this thing exploding. Look at that. That is cloud. That is volcanic ash and stuff. This is in the transition from these two scenes. Look at this. This is Hawaii, the Big Island, and this is Kilauea, like right about here. The East Rift Zone's right in here from the side, and look at it exploding. Look at the cloud of ash and stuff coming off. And guess what? It's at 9 p.m. on 9/23. Look at that. When I saw that, I was like, what? No way. This is the evidence. This is some of the evidence right here. This is Hawaiian Island. This is what causes this tsunami right here on 9 p.m. on 9/23. Okay? This is crazy. Are you seeing this? Do you get this? Look at this. This is nuts. If any of you see other things that's pertinent to this thing, let me know. If it's not pertinent, please don't put it on here, because I'm trying to get to this time frame so people are warned. That's what my biggest goal. So that's why I feel like this has been solved, because if we know when it starts and we know what it is, then we're there. I mean, if we don't know everything that's down the line, so be it. But I feel like it's solved, and it's solved good enough for me. Okay, I want to get to something else here. This is big too. This is more evidence to support all this stuff. Okay, so we have two timelines meshed together in a sense too. Why? Because right here, okay, and right here, there's two figures here, and they represent each of them represent two separate things. Why is that? Okay, right here, this is a rooster. Okay, this is a rooster with his feathers, the top of his head, whatever. It's very, very basic, but you probably see this a little bit more. This is a dog. Okay, see the ears, see the nose, see the mouth. He's kind of head's pointed up, kind of like this. This is another dog over here, because this is the year of the dog. This is the Wushu year of the dog. The last year was This is 2018, the year of the dog. Last year was the year of the rooster. So we got a rooster and we have a dog. Another thing about that as well is that sometimes the years are shown different because this is more gray and this is more like turquoise or color or whatever that is. This main green color, which is kind of a turquoise-ish color. Okay, so we have 2017 and 2018 represented in a sense, and I'm going to show you how that blurs into what's coming up and how that represents what's coming up. Second, this, I'm going to give you a little, this is what I figured out, and I have so much proof of this. Now imagine this is a landmass. It looks like a landmass. You got water around this, and you got water back here where this hurricane is going, and you saw the 3 hurricanes we talked about. You know, we got Lane, Norman, and Olivia, right? And these are hurricanes because it's over water and they're spiraling up high, and that's how the ice form and everything. But guess what? This is a landmass that we all know. What is it? Well, this is United States, and I'll prove why. This is United States. Okay, this is United States. This is the East Coast, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, before I do that, look at these again. You know what these are? What happened on the East Coast last year? Because we're talking about 2017 and 2018. Well, last year was Hurricane Jose, which just looks like a Jose, or which more like Joseph, because that's what Joseph Jose means. It means Joseph. Just imagine this is an old guy with a beard, or not an old guy, but a guy from, you know, antiquity, back when before Jesus was born. You got Joseph and Mary. So look at Joseph. He's got a beard. He's got a thing over his head. That's Joseph right there. Look at that. You see nose, mouth, kind of eyes kind of hidden in there. Some over his head. You can, you know, have you see those movies with these guys. And then we have Mary or Maria. So we have Jose and Maria off the coast of Hawaii. East Coast. So we have Jose and Maria off the East Coast, and that was last year. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this right now. I got to go to something real quick. Okay, so like I was saying, here's Jose and Maria, and they were right off the coast. Okay, one was kind of more down south, and one was north, and then they both came up north together and came together. Are you kidding me? So Mary, Maria, and Jose, Joseph, came up the East Coast and got together. And then what happened? Well, a year later, they're going to make the Antichrist, if you can believe it. So this is crazy. This is their religion. This is nuts. That's another reason why you know they made this up and they are manipulating these, because of this kind of stuff. You know, I mean, really? So let me go back to this. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this too much right now because I want to go back to it. But again, this is United States. This is the East Coast right here. This is the whole United States from the East Coast side, if you would have viewed it from the East Coast side. And then on the other side of it is basically the West Coast. And then this is Hawaii over here. And you have 3 hurricanes that happened. And this is crazy. So it's way out here. So that's what this is representing. And I'm going to show you why later. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. Okay, so this lighthouse is shining this light, and I caught it right as it's shining in my face. Again, you have to, with these videos, you have to be able to have high definition, and so that's why I'm showing you. You can just watch what I have, or you can look at them in high definition. This is a 4K higher definition video that I downloaded. So look at right in the view. You have basically a rainbow, which kind of is in the face of God, like mocking God. Remember, God did a rainbow, said he would destroy the earth with a flood, but the enemy, you know, didn't make that promise. Here's a rainbow, and then this, I think, represents the rituals that they're doing, because guess what? This is 8 beams of light, and then this is right here is a 2. See that 2 right there? And we've talked about 8-2 before in the last video. That is 9/11. So 8-2 in the Chinese lunar calendar is 9/11. So let me go to it real quick. Right here. So 8-2, there's 8. Right here, 8, and there's 2, okay? This is the 8th lunar month in the Chinese calendar. This is the lunar calendar conversion table, the Gregorian to lunar calendar conversion table of 2018. Again, the Wushu year of the dog. We're in the year of the dog. Last year was the year of the rooster. Okay, so this is the 8th month, the 2nd day, and we go up here. You have 11. You go over here, and you have September 11th. Okay, I'm going to go back over here. So this is September 11th. Now this is a big day because they did these rituals. They did the ritual of the Tower of Voices in Pennsylvania where President Trump spoke, which he's with them. Okay, and he said this crazy story about a woman and her husband died in a plane crash there where it supposedly went in the field, but there's no plane wreckage whatsoever. And the main coroner said he's never seen one drop of blood or a body. They just hit it with a missile. I mean, are you kidding me? So anyway, and there was people that were there before all the federal people got there, and they didn't see anything. They just see the big explosion from the ground or whatever. Okay, so, and then there was that other ritual in New York, which was the winged Oculus that I showed you that looked like a white alien from movie Aliens, and on top was this big skylight. If you look from the top, you look up Oculus in New York. Okay, the winged Oculus also. And the skylight opened on 9/11. Again, it was a big ritual about the serpent eye opening and basically the birth of the Antichrist. So I believe this is a ritual with this light searching around in the lighthouse. There's got to be something about a lighthouse in mythology and all that kind of stuff. If you guys know, anybody you know that, let me know. Put in the comments, please. But this is 8/2. Also on 8/2 was the day when I showed you. Remember I showed you a few slides ago where there was that where that drop of oil hit, and then it showed the hurricane little symbol above Hawaii to the kind of the north east of Hawaii, and that was again, like I said, 9/11, which is this same day. So here's 9/11 on the East Coast. Okay. All right, here's 9/11 on the East Coast, and then you have this thing showing up right here. Okay, so I thought this might be one of the last one, and it's showing right here, but no, there's 3 here in Hawaii, and the last one, Olivia, started hitting the island on 9/11, and then this one, guess what? It's Florence, the one to hit the East Coast. Again, this is the East Coast, and guess where it's hitting? Right here, right in here, this is representing Florida, which I'll show you. This is, guess what? North and South Carolina. Right here, right in here. And it's right above here. Look at that. Okay, and lights coming down on the phallic symbol and whatever, and I'm going to get into that a little bit, unfortunately. So, yeah. And then it's showing here. Now, I'll show you what it's showing right here. Look at this. It's showing this thing, but let me show you this real quick. Oop, not this. I'll get to it in a second, but it's showing something. I'll show you. But this is that top of the phallic symbol. Okay, whatever. I don't like to get into this stuff, especially when you have this and this and then this. I mean, you know what's going on here. I don't want to get, but anyway, I just have to show you this because this is the part of the whole thing. Okay, and then we have the cross, but it's it's a stuff's been done to the cross. Okay, with this stuff and everything, it's sick. Okay, but this is representing something This is representing the United States. And I'm going to show you this. And there's a heart here and stuff. So let's go to the next thing here. There's stuff in this. There's more stuff here, but so think about this. Okay, with the stuff you just saw, and then the cross being defiled and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, this is just one thing the United States is supremely guilty of. Not to mention everything else. We're talking about killing millions of babies, and I mean just thing after thing after thing. The United States has exported their evil to the whole world. It's sick. And wars, and I mean it just goes on and on and on. But just this, in reference to this, okay, and all this splatter and all this stuff shooting on it and all this stuff, and what this is, what that is. I mean, are you kidding me? Just this. I've just picked one thing because it has to do with kind of that. Debauchery and stuff. 60% of porn websites are hosted by the United States. Okay, look at that. And it just so happens to have a Statue of Liberty. That is crazy. Listen, when I do these little laughs sometimes, it's kind of funny, but it's also super sad. And it ticks me off. Okay? So anyway, that's crazy. Okay? So in this phallic symbol, okay, there's an old lady. And she's behind 3 bars. Okay? And maybe the bars are, I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that right now. Some of the symbolism I don't get. Like, I still don't completely get the heart on everything. If it's the heart of what people find important or something. I don't know. Anybody has, some really good valid insight on that, let me know. I want to hear it. Okay, but she's behind these bars. She's looking out from the tower. Okay, from this tower, she's looking at something. Now, this is very important, okay? And I'm going to show you what she's doing, who she is. Okay, now, so here she is coming to the window. You see her coming to the window. And guess what this looks like? Look at this. Okay, now I'm going to point these features out. Look at the nose. Look at this nose. Look at this mouth. Right here, there's a mouth. And then the eye is kind of beat up. Do you see how this eye is kind of in there is beat up a little bit? There's probably a little bit of hair there, but it's all, pulled up here. Okay, and then look at these 3 lines right here. 1, 2, 3 rivers. This is it. There's an eye here, and there's kind of an idea of an eye here. There's an eye here. There's and there's an eye here. I mean, this is kind of, I don't have the perfect picture, but look at this hook nose. Look at this. This is what this is representing. Look at that. So we're talking about the top of her head is New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, maybe in West Virginia thrown in there. And then we're right to the bottom, her chin, which is that, see that little mark right here? See that little mark right there? Look at that. Look at that little mole right there. Look at that. See that? Look at that little mole right there. See? And look at the battered eye. Look at this battered eye. There's a battered eye, like she's been punched. She is a woman of the night and all that kind of stuff. She's got the red light on. How the police sing about, leave your red light. Anyway, I won't get into all that. So look at this. This is this area of the East Coast. When I realized that, it stunned me. Completely stunned me. Okay? This is crazy. And so guess what? Well, we'll get into that in a second. So she's looking at these bars, okay? She's looking at something, okay? She's looking because she is those states. She's looking at something very close to her. Very close to her because she's in the tower and it's not too far from her. She's looking at. So what is she looking at that's not too far from those states? Well, look, there's something in her eye. Okay, there's something in her eye, okay? What's in her eye? Look at this. What's in her eye? Well, look, this is what it is. It is New York, and it's the Statue of Liberty, and this scene right here. So it doesn't completely match up perfect, but it is it. See, the thing about this movie is things don't match up perfectly all the time, but you got to get the general idea of it, and you got to be able to see subtleties in things and all that. Sometimes it's a little bit more cut and dry, but most of it's very subtle. So subtle, it's ridiculous. But there's things that reference different things in real life. You got to see the subtle differences. But look at this. See, this is right here. See the little bumps right on this side? There's the bumps on this side. There's this shape here, the shape over here. And then this is kind of, if it was all lit up, it was kind of more, it would be all kind of white. Okay, so you got this kind of indentation here, and then these, I think these bunny ears there, what they look like, and then it's kind of coming down right here. So that's what this is. But you can't completely tell because the long part of the Statue of Liberty, which is shown upside down, is right here, and it's covered by what she sees as a bar. Okay, and it's done like that on purpose, so you can't really see it when you're normally looking at it. If you kind of do a little bit of investigation, you can see it's there. And that's what she's looking at. Okay? And what does she see? What does she see? She sees that. She sees New York right here. She sees the Statue of Liberty right here. So the Statue of Liberty is right in here, in this inlet right in here. And then she is basically, her head makes up, the top of her head makes up the top of New Jersey right here. Okay, that's crazy. That's nuts. Okay, now I'm going to show you what she actually sees. We're going to go back to the video, and I'm going to play this next. And I'll see if you get an idea what she actually sees and how this is represented in the video. Because it goes kind of fast, so I have to slow it down. Okay, so I'm going to put this in super slow-mo, and I might have to play it a couple times. So I have it really slow motion here. So watch. Watch her eye and watch the bar here. Watch this light streak across. She's looking there at New York. Watch, see that light? Boom. And then explosion. Light. Let's do it again. Watch. Watch the bar. Watch her eye. So you just see those two shapes in her eye. Now watch the third one come from the left in her eye. Watch. See that? It's a missile. It's a missile. We're going to watch it one more time. It's a missile hitting there. Watch. Oops, sorry. Now again, watch her eye, the left eye, and watch the left side of her eye, and the missile come in and hit New York. Watch. Boom. And it explodes, and she goes backwards. She's like, oh, and then she's like trying to defend herself in a sense and going backwards. And then, yeah, this is really great. But the light is boom, like a mushroom cloud, and fire and whatever, and then she's blasted up against the wall. Boom. Right? And then here she is, and I'm going to show you these pictures here. So let me stop for a second. Okay, so we have her going backwards right here. Now I got to show you this. So right here, this is a shark looking thing when you see it from kind of a little ways back or when she's moving. But there's something else going on here. If anybody sees this, it's almost like a 7. I don't know. There's something there. Me and my daughter can't quite figure it out. I cover up this part anyway. When I pause it, and I'm like, okay, what does that look like? She's like, I have no idea. She's like, it looks like something. Anyway, and then let me show you what's going on here. This is really nuts. Okay, so a lot of people have commented, and different people who have tried to interpret these things. I haven't found anybody who hasn't. I just feel like I was blessed and fortunate to, I think, get insight and show what this stuff, some of this stuff is now. It's crazy. So, but see these 5s back here? You got slash, 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 and then line through it. That's 5. Slash, 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 line through it. They're all over inside this room that she's in. Looks like it's a prison, of course. Like you're waiting for the days to go by or whatever. And that's what it seems like it might be, but that's not what it is. These are all distorting what's actually being shown. So I'm going to show you the first thing here. Now imagine this line is a demarcation between 1 year of 2017. Again, a lot of things show both years. So there's a demarcation line. And guess what? Look, there's a tsunami wave again. Tsunami wave caused by a shark, which is a submarine. Okay, so there's a tsunami wave right here, okay, which eventually will become a tsunami wave. But guess what? Look, so above this line is 2017, I believe, and down below this line is 2018. Now let me show you the evidence. So up here, we have, this is Harvey. See this line right here on top? Remember the oil derrick I showed you that was pumping? Well, if it was pumping for a little while, and then there's some that kind of broke, so this looks like a broken down oil derrick right here. Okay, and guess what? These 5 so-called, see right here, this looks like that. Look right here, there's a space in between. That's an H and an H. Hurricane Harvey. Are you kidding me? So that's Hurricane Harvey. It's marked right here. See, there's no space really between there, and then this one's got a little bit of space, but it's not really, and this one's got no space, this one's got no space. There's a space, Hurricane Harvey, and that's what this was. This might be rain coming down. I don't know. If anybody has any idea what this is, it almost looks like a 3 and a 1. It might be 13 backwards. If you have any idea, you can prove what that is. I'd like to know. Or maybe that's a line of slump falling. I can't quite place it though. Okay, then under this line, see, we're still in 2017 above this line, this tsunami wave. Right here, check it out. Irma, I-R-M-A. It's Irma. That's crazy. We got I-R-M-A. Okay, it's hidden in there. See, I-R-M-A. It's crazy. So we have Harvey, which is confirmed by the oil derrick, which was, like I said, when it was all this water and stuff, the oil stopped and some plants got shut down and stuff for a while. So that's kind of like it's getting shut down. And then Hurricane Harvey. Underneath it is Irma. So again, these are more evidence that this is legitimate as far as this is planned. Okay, this is not just some animated movie that's silly and has silly things or maybe some evil things in it, evil imagery and all that stuff, and it doesn't mean anything. This is their playbook. This is their playbook. There are other pieces of playbooks out there, but this is why the Lord has me on this, because this is their playbook. This is one of their biggest playbooks of and chronology of a timeline. Okay, so underneath this line right here is 2018. Now look at this. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait, you know what? Let me go to a different slide. Wait, not this one. You know, I thought I had a better slide than this. But anyway, right here, if you can see it, there's another space. And guess what? H. Remember the 5? Slash, 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 and then slash between that? By the way, the slash is not diagonal, which a lot of times it is. I mean, someone might go this way, but if it was diagonal, it'd be a lot harder. But it just happens to be not diagonal, happens to be horizontal. Okay? And right here, the same thing that's right here is HH with a big space here. It's hard to see right here. Sorry, I thought I got a better slide for that. I'm not going to go back and do it right now. But it's HH for, guess what? Hurricane Hector. Hurricane Hector. Yes. Hurricane Hector. And then we have Lane, we have Norman, and we have Olivia. And then a space of like a week or maybe 2 weeks or something like that. And then guess what? Oh, wait, no, not this one. There's no space. But it's just showing them separately. Or it's East and West Coast is what I'm trying to say. So this is West Coast and East Coast. And there's one right here. That's Florence, the hit land. These ones actually hit. The Hurricane Hector did not really hit. It touched. But these 3 hit Hawaii. And this one hit the East Coast. Okay? And then guess what? We have this light, white, skinny thing that she just saw. Boom. And caused this. That's crazy. It's right there. It's the next thing in the timeline right here. The white, light, missile-looking thing. Okay? This is crazy. So this is right. There's a lot of evidence backing up what I'm saying right here. There's more stuff. Corroborating evidence is what I'm showing you. In itself, not as much, but there is name in here. There's, you know, HH. I mean, there's just more corroborating evidence. It's crazy. Going to the next thing. Okay, then she's blasted up against the back wall here, and again, you see all these 5, 5, 5, 5, 5s, everything. Like she's counting the days and 5s. If you see more than this that I'm going to share, let me know. There's a weird thing about the ritual with the blood thing with her, and then a birth kind of thing. I don't understand all that. Okay, if anybody has any insight about that, let me know. Okay, and I think she has a thicker, heavier shoe right here, and she has a normal shoe right here. I think this is North Carolina. I think this is South Carolina because it's more like the shapes of both of those, and that's kind of at the bottom of her head would be the North Carolina, South Carolina shapes. But I won't get into that. It's not as important. But these are lights. These are beams of light, and then she looks like she's being hit by the god of the sun god. Okay, there's many names, Helios and all these kind of names and stuff. Hit by light of the sun god, which is all in their religion. And then she's underwater. You see this blub, blub, blub right here? Look at that, right here. And then you also see something else behind here. Guess what this is referencing? If we were to go a little bit farther in the video, or actually we did, in the beginning video I showed you, there was the Korean girl that was holding a white flag. Now, there's a Korean girl right here. There's a representation of her. Why do I say that? Because there's a white flag behind her that she was waving. And then there's the head of the skeleton right here, and he blew the party favor. Now, go back to look at that if you want. Check it out. It's on this video I just showed you in the beginning. He's blowing a party favor at her, and so this is referencing this time. So when this thing happens, it's going to start these tanks coming, and probably they look like Chinese tanks. There's Chinese tanks that actually have teeth on the front of them. It's crazy. Okay, so it's something with the war is going to amp up after this with China and different stuff. So I don't pretend to know all that. Definitely not. If anybody has insights on that, let me know. Okay, but this is the skeleton head. This is the death symbol guy blowing the party favor out. When it looks like there's 4th of July explosions behind his head, and then she turns around, and then she's right there, and she on the back of her, on her back, she's wearing a jacket that shows the tiger, which is the symbol for Korea, or for Koreans, or whatever. I think it's both North Korea and South Korea. It's Korean. I knew a guy named Tiger Kim who had a dojo. Anyway, so this is, and then her eye is now white, okay, from this, and I think I know why. So look at her eye. I think in her eye it shows either sharks or submarines, or it's a combination of both, because that's just what hit. That's what just hit, what she saw. So in her eye now, it looks like a shark or submarine or both combo. There's 2 of them. They're in the water. So this we're getting hit at this point in New York, probably like I showed with Bush and Obama in the classroom, probably getting hit New York, Florida, and maybe two other places in near the East Coast or into the United States from the East Coast. That's what I'm that's what I'm speculating here, because there was four snowflakes that were inside the shape of what you saw underneath the Statue of Liberty, which is that Star of David. So the snowflakes of that shape, there's four of them. There were four missiles that came out of the phallic symbol on the chalkboard. The fourth one being the eye of the shark. Look back at it if you want to. I'm not going to go back to it right now. This is my previous videos. Okay. All right. We're going to go back to this. Now I'm going to show you, I said earlier, I'm going to show you how this is the East Coast. More evidence. Not only this Florence right over here, kind of right above Florida, and where Florida goes into the mainland right here, and where that lady's head basically shows up here. Okay, I'm going to show you some other evidence here. Now look at this. So, see this. This is I'm calling this Florida. Even though it's kind of weird, but again, they have to make it not quite the same for a reason. Okay, so why is this Florida? Well, it's basically a landmass coming out here. It's a peninsula or whatever. And then look at this right here. Look at this indention right here. See that indention right there? What does that look like? Oh, looks like Florida with that lake right there. See that lake? There's Florida right there. Let's go back to it. See that? It's a little indention, just enough to point at Florida, but you couldn't tell by these sections here and stuff, maybe. But you can tell by other things. Again, more corroborating evidence, more evidence that supports other evidence. Okay, boom, there you go. That's Florida. Now look at this. Now look, this is up to the top where Maine is and New Brunswick. Up here, we have Canada, like Nova Scotia and all this stuff. What's the point? Now look at this. I think this looks a little bit like a foot, like a funky toe, big toe next to the big toe with a funky nail. But this is a big toe right here. See that big toe in the foot here? It's connected to over here a little bit. Now look at this. See that big toe? And the big toe is sticking up, so you know, because if you wouldn't be able to see it if it was just flat. So they have it sticking up. So if you're kind of looking, you can see, hey, there's the big toe. Okay, there's the big toe. And then look, the foot is connected to other land. It's not too much land over here, but it's some land. Now look at that. See, there's land. There's Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island right here, land. And look at that. There's land right there. See? Okay, so when we look at this whole thing, this is the East Coast, Florida to the east, whatever you call that. That jets up to the northeast to Maine, and then the Nova Scotia and all that stuff right up here. So this is the only hurricane to hit right down here above Florida, right into South Carolina and North Carolina. Florence, and Florence means blossoming or flowering of the Antichrist. It's about here. It is about here. We're just a few days away. Okay, I gave you the time, I gave you the date. Okay, I have a presentation here. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple more things real quick here. So, no, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to end it here. So I've showed you some more evidence that corroborates other evidence that this is 1, 2, 3 from Hawaii over on the other side of this coast over here. The west coast is over here. This is the east coast. I've shown that. Okay, and I've shown you that the woman is part of the east coast, part of the east coast. Okay, and she's looking over at New York because she's so close, because she's all those other states. That's her face. Okay, and this is Florence, and then we have the dates here. Let me go to that here real quick. Okay, so I'm going to show you this again. So we basically have the dates. We have 3 o'clock right here in New York, which is the same time but different time zone as 9 o'clock, and the hands pointing this way right here, and the explosion, the volcanic explosion of Kilauea or whatever, Fissure 8, Kilauea, all of it, who knows, and the tsunami happening right here in Hawaii at pretty much the same time. Or this is just showing Hawaii and with the tsunami happening in Hawaii, and then a few hours later, maybe at the other possibility is midnight Hawaii time, and it's in New York. I don't know. So, but I know for sure what I'm seeing on all the evidence is showing that it's 9 o'clock Hawaii time is probably the first events. Now, there's an outside chance that it could be midnight is first New York time. So New York could be first, and then New York time would be 8 o'clock. New York time would be, hold on a second. No, New York time, 12 o'clock would be 6 o'clock in Hawaii. So it could be New York first at 12 midnight, which would be my time, 2 hours early. Mountain time would be 10. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you. So we'll look at 2 times, just East Coast time. So midnight for New York to go first, possibly, or 3 in the morning for New York to go second after Hawaii at 3 o'clock in the morning, which would be 8 p.m. In Hawaii. Or we're looking at midnight in New York, and then 6 hours earlier from there in Hawaii would be 6 p.m. if I have that right. Oh man, no, I'm sorry, not 6. Whatever, I think you get the idea. But so these are the times, and I'm favoring more than anything 9 p.m. Hawaii time, 9:23. Okay, so I think we know the time. I think we know the day. I think we know the event. So I'm calling this nailed. I'm calling iPet Goat 2 solved. And just because I want people to know. So now it's your job, along with my job, for the next few days to get the word out. I am going to get the word out the best I can. I'm going to go to all kinds of sites. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. I'm asking you to do the same or more. I'm asking all of you to petition with comments other channels and put stuff out there about this. Like this guy, Exalted Lamb 1, the Exalted Lamb 1, found the answer to iPet Goat, like on Manyfish or on whoever. Please, I'm begging you. Or if you have other better ideas, please. We need to get the word out. I want more people saved from this. I want more people saved. I want more people to be aware of this. I want people to get off the West Coast if they can, if they see this. I want people to get off the East Coast if they can. Whatever. Please, I beg you. I'm not trying to bark orders or anything. I'm just asking you. I'm begging you to help with this situation. I don't want people to die, and I want people to realize what's going on after it happens, and I want them to come to Christ. And many will, but not as many as I probably would like. But I'm still going to do everything I can. I'm asking you to do the same, please. So, without any further ado, this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.